All right, this is my December 2023 self-improvement review. So, um, before we get into all the details, if you watched my last video, you'll know that I mentioned I was talking to my dad about purpose and things like that in life, just a general life discussion. And what I didn't mention in the last video, because I wanted to tell my boss first in person, was that I quit my job and I'm going to be moving back in with my parents to pursue music. So it's something that I've been thinking about quite a bit the past couple years, that I wish I had not given up on myself so easily when it came to music. And I had thought for a little while, like, hey, that's gone, like that dream is gone. But I realized that I've got one life to live and I need to pursue my dreams. Otherwise, I'm not going to be satisfied. So, yeah, my parents had offered me when I was visiting them on vacation to live with them for a couple months while I get my feet under me and figure out what exactly I'm going to do with this music thing. So, yep, going back to California. So, I'm looking forward to that. It's been pretty busy because I'm a couple days away from leaving here. A little bit delayed because we've got a storm in Kansas right now. That's made the roads a little bit dangerous, so I have to hold out for that, which gives me time to finish up some cleaning stuff around here, which is good. Getting pretty close to being done here because this room, I mean, it's all off camera, but there used to be like a desk here and a bunch of different stuff going on, but now it's just like some notebooks I got to put away, and then a bunch of stuff that I had set up for this video that I'm going to put away once I'm done with that. So yeah, that's the big thing here, and that affects everything else that we're going to talk about. So yeah, let's talk about how that relates. So first thing I got is fitness. So my dream 10 out of 10 physique. I've kind of been slacking in this area because I've been trying to get everything cleaned up for the move, and that has taken up a decent amount of my time. So especially the last 2 weeks, I should say, of December. Last 2 weeks, I was covering at work, trying to prepare for the move, all this other stuff. So yeah, that was a little bit hectic. So I was not that consistent the last 2 weeks of December, but I did the gym a couple times. I've been doing a good job keeping my form consistent. I've been really cognizant of that, and that has helped me. It's helped me realize like where my weaknesses were, and it gives me peace of mind knowing that I'm not going to get injured because I'm like doing the exercises properly. So that's been good. Now I know exactly where I stand as far as weightlifting goes, how much weight I can actually lift. The mistake that I made, I already mentioned, I've been inconsistent. Especially around the holiday time, because it was easy to not go to the gym when the gym's closed for Christmas, New Year's, stuff like that. So yeah, so once I finish this move, I'm just gonna have to get consistent again, back in the gym. So, because there's one like right by my parents' place, so that'll make that easy. There's no excuse there. I can just run over there really. I might actually just start doing that, just because Cali gas prices are high, and it's nearby. I might as well. So that'll be good. Yeah, so that wraps up the fitness portion of this. So on to music. So with my goal being improving as a songwriter and a guitarist, just one like big general thing, improve as a musician in general. So for some progress is I continue to learn the Michael Moreno solo I mentioned in the last video. Did pretty well on that. I learned the second course out of 2 out of 3 courses, and I started, pardon me, I'm about 6 or 7 measures into the third course. So I'm making progress there, and I've noticed by doing this, by like actually reading the sheet music instead of just looking at the tabs, I'm getting a lot more knowledge of the fretboard. So like I'm just comfortable grabbing notes, and I've started to just think like, oh, this next section is like whatever. Like I'll think the actual note names, like it's like D, E flat, F, and I'll just like grab those notes without even thinking like, oh, I need to go to the fifth fret on the A string to grab a D. Like I don't think about it. I'm starting to just know where the notes are. So that's been really cool to see. It makes me feel like more and more like a better guitarist every day. So that's been great. I've been in a bit of a creative slump. It's like most of December I felt like I was in a creative slump, but I forced myself to write, and I actually did come up with some riffs, not like great riffs, but like they're decent, and I'm probably just gonna workshop them because there's like a lot of them are like a fix or two away from being great. So I did a good job just brute forcing that through and making progress there so I can release some new music. So I'm very much looking forward to that. I've got some good stuff cooking up. A lot better than my last release. So, so next, moving on to lyric writing stuff, I realized that I was having problems writing lyrics for one of the songs that I'm working on because I was trying to force it to be about like a specific topic, but it didn't feel like that's what the song needs, or like that's not really what I wanted to say, I guess. So once I realized that, I was like, okay, well that's why the lyrics aren't coming. So I'm changing what that song is about, at least lyrically. I think you can have like the same general idea. It's just that I approached it the wrong way, I think, and I need to just start from scratch on that lyrically. That is. So, up next, I already mentioned I quit my job to move back to California. And then the next big thing I've been doing is starting to research music marketing. So with me pursuing music as trying to make money from that, I need to understand marketing and all that stuff. So been learning a lot of good stuff there. Not sponsored, of course, but I've been watching a lot of Jesse Cannon and Bacon Bits. I think the guy's name is Matt Bacon or Matthew Bacon. They've been pretty good. They got a lot of good information. So starting there, and yeah, we'll see where it goes. So what next? So the mistakes that I've been making, I think, with guitar is I made a practice routine. Like I wrote out like I'm gonna do like a warm up, and then I'm gonna warm up with like this scales or whatever, then these exercises. I had it written out what I was gonna do, and I found that I can do that like maybe every other day, but then I'm probably being too generous. It's probably like once a week, because I've only done it a couple times really, so it probably does average out to like once a week. But I find that I don't want to do that. Like I'm just like playing scales, and I'm like, yeah, this is like, it engages me for like 3 minutes because I do it with the metronome, and I can see the time on the metronome. It's like been 3 minutes. So I'm like, I want to do something else, so I end up like jamming or just playing something that's fun. So I need to figure out what my practice routine is going to be, because I'm going to have a lot more time to like structure this out and follow something to improve, and I need to make it something that I'm going to follow. So while I could brute force it, I would rather do something that is like more enjoyable, just because I don't want to make myself hate playing music again. So yeah, that's going to be my goal. One of my goals for this next month is get my practice routine set up, and then learn that third chorus on the Michael Moreno solo. So those are my 2 goals here. And then something I haven't written out is figure out some merch stuff. Because if you follow me on other social media platforms, actually I think I posted on YouTube also, but merch is in progress. So that's been pretty cool too. Like actually working with graphic designers and having them help me make my vision come to life, and then them knocking it out of the park, and then I just have to do a bunch of stuff on the back end, and there'll be merch. So things are looking really good in the music department here. What is happening? All right, let me just move down here. Oh my God. Sorry, I'm a boomer. I don't know how to use a mouse cursor. Anyway, so on to just general self-improvement stuff. Yeah, again, I keep mentioning I quit my job. That's like in all the sections, which is why I moved it to the front, but then I forgot to delete it from everywhere. But I guess I'll talk a little bit about that. Something that it's been bittersweet quitting my job, because like I'm very excited to start going down this music path, because it feels like I've had this inner conflict for a while where I felt like there was something off. Like I was going down the wrong path in life. So this feels like the right decision. Ultimately, I ended up making this decision when I was driving back from California. Once I crossed the California border, I had this feeling, and I remember thinking, like, after crossing the border, I was like, I've left behind all the opportunities that are available for me. So once I realized that, I was like, yeah, I need to go back there. So that's how that came about. I mean, I understand that there's a death metal scene in other places too. However, I think it'll be good to also be like around family and things like that, just because I've got some older relatives that have some health issues and I would like to spend time with them. So yeah, there's like multiple layers to it, but the major reason is music stuff. So yeah, that's where that came from. Something that's been tough, the toughest part of it all really is all the relationships I've made with people over here. There's a lot of good people that I've met at work. I liked my job. It was, yeah, it's not like, I don't know, it's like one of those things where I guess it would be easier if I hated my job and I hated the people I work with, but I didn't. I liked my job. I really loved a lot of the people that I worked with. There's a lot of good people that I worked with, and yeah, it sucks to leave them behind. And it was sad, but it was like kind of heartwarming to see when I announced my resignation to everyone. A lot of my coworkers were really sad about it, and a lot of them told me like how much they liked working with me, and things like that. And it's definitely a mutual thing. So yeah, I'm gonna miss all of them, but that's life, I guess. Gotta embrace the change. So yeah, that's what happened with that. Actually, I'm leaving a little bit early because one of my relatives is having some health issues, so I'm gonna be there for that, be there for my family. So I'm leaving a little bit earlier than I expected from work, but I mean, they were all understanding about it. I did stay. I actually gave like pretty good notice, like 6 weeks notice. Well, it ended up being like 4, but just try to help out because I don't want to leave my team hanging them out to dry. So I stayed to try to bridge the gap because we have a lot of other people. We're really short-staffed, is what it boils down to. But yeah, tried to stay as long as I could to help them out. So yeah, I'm very grateful for all the relationships I've made and the impact I've made on their lives and they've made on my life. So yeah. So that's that. That's the bitter side, I guess, of the bittersweet leaving part. Okay, moving back onto general self-improvement stuff. I made a TikTok, so I'm Greg Angel Music on TikTok. So I'll be posting. Really, I should make a Heritage of Rebellion TikTok because a lot of what I'm posting is just like going to be for that project, but I might just leave it as just like my personal / heritage. It's kind of loud. I'm gonna leave that probably as a personal account / Heritage of Rebellion, just because it's a solo project still. So once I get an actual band together, I'll probably make a separate TikTok for that, or just separate social media in general, because everything now is just like me / heritage. So I gotta figure that out. But yeah, I made a TikTok. That was something that pretty much that both Matt and Jesse were talking about, was TikTok being like, that's the way to get seen. So yeah, did that. Um, I set screen time limits for social media. So like on YouTube, Instagram. Do I have Instagram? I think I have it on Insta also. But it's like YouTube, Insta, and TikTok. They have an option to set a screen time limit. So it's supposed to 15 minutes. So it'll remind me at 15 minutes, like, hey, you should take a break. So once I see that, I'm like, okay, yeah. Well, usually, because like YouTube stuff, I'll listen to, if I'm listening to something in the background, I kind of have to like keep refreshing it. But it's good to have that reminder there, so I'm not on my phone all the time. That's been good. Already mentioned merch designs are in progress, and I've tried to start recruiting for Heritage, but it's kind of tough out there. Mostly posting on Reddit and stuff. I figure once I get back out to Cali, I'm gonna have to do some networking. Like I know some places that are that have people that listen to death metal. One of my buddies told me there's a new venue he's been going to that has a lot of death metal shows. So looking forward to that. I think I'm just gonna have to go out there and do everything in person, which is gonna be good because it'll hone my people skills that I've already somewhat developed. But that was more in a professional context. It was like an engineering job. This is gonna be music stuff. So yeah, gonna learn new facets to things there. So yeah, that's the progress that I've made there. So I'd say some mistakes that I've made. I noticed that I've been listening. I've just been having a lot of like aural stimulations, like listening to music or podcasts or just something while I'm doing everything. This all started once I got a new set of headphones because now it's just like I have easy access to them. So I'm just listening to music or podcasts whenever I'm eating or doing chores, which I just recently stopped doing again. It's just been, I've noticed that I'm less mindful and my mind feels more like chaotic when I'm listening to something all the time, constantly being stimulated. So that's been something bad there. And just in general, I've been like feeling overstimulated, and I haven't been. Part of that is I haven't been meditating as frequently. I've just been doing once a day instead of twice a day, and then journaling as often, which I was doing a good job in like November, October, I want to say. But then like December, I kind of just like did not do a good job with that, and I think because I was covering for 2 weeks at work, that like drained my willpower, I guess. So that combined with I bought new headphones, so I had easy access to stimulation, and then I guess also downloading TikTok and like getting more social media and trying to be more active. That all kind of like together made me fall back to old habits of just like looking at social media all the time. So that is my main area to improve, is to reduce the stimulation, which I've been doing a good job since the year started, of not listening to music constantly and all that stuff. And yeah, that's been good. So that's going to be one thing there, is reduce the amount of stimulation I get from social media and all that stuff. Finish setting up merch store and the merch designs, finalizing those, which getting pretty close there. But I have a little bit more work to do with that, and then finishing up prepping for the move, which I'm going to do once this camera shuts off. So yeah, that about wraps everything up. But yeah, it was a very, very eventful month of December for me, changing course and aligning myself with my purpose. So I'm very much looking forward to the future, and let's see what January holds. So as always, I'm Greg Angel, and thank you for watching.